Snartio here. Welcome to another live ranking, and because it's Friday, that actually is a live album ranking. It's getting to be quite popular, this one. And today we're going to be looking at the live albums of American rock band Bon Jovi. They've only released 3 official albums, but there are other stuff out there that you can get and is available if you look in the right places. Formed in 1983 by John Bon Jovi in New Jersey. Had a really good career, but unfortunately I think they're on the downward slope at the moment. So let's have a look at these 3 officials, and I'll mention some other stuff that I've managed to acquire over the years. Okay, then, coming in at number 3 we have third and most current live album, This House Is Not For Sale, live from the London Palladium, released in 2016, and it contains 15 versions of the 21 songs from their 13th album, This House Is Not For Sale, and was recorded at the London Palladium in London on the 10th of October 2016. The musicians on this album are John Bon Jovi on the lead vocals, Phil X on lead guitar, Hugh McDonald on the bass, Tico Torres on the drums, David Byron on the keyboards, and we've got John Shanks doing rhythm guitar and Everett Bradley on percussion. The set list was, or the songs on this album are, This House Is Not For Sale, Living With The Ghost, Knockout, Labour of Love, Born Again Tomorrow, Roller Coaster, New Year's Day, The Devil's in the Temple, Scars on the Guitar, God Bless This Mess, Reunion, Real Love, All Hail the King, We Don't Run, and Come Up to Our House. Now the album itself, the studio album, isn't too bad. Musically it sounds really good. But the one issue I have is the vocals. On the studio, they've sort of smoothed them out and played around with them, so they sound not too bad. But unfortunately, the live version of these songs are not very good. And that's because, unfortunately, I think John Bon Jovi's vocals live are a little bit weak now. Unfortunately, as he's got older, he can't hit them notes. And there's a lot of flat notes on this album. I sat and listened to it. I mean, I find it hard to listen to anyway, but I sat and listened to it under the headphones last week, and there's so many mistakes on it. He's like a lot of singers, you know, as they get older, their voice changes. You've got to alter how you sing and do it within your range. Don't go and try and do stuff that you did and sing it in the style that you did in 1983, because it's not going to happen. So it's pretty weak in places on the vocals. Drumming from Tico is still great. He is still a fantastic drummer. Phil X isn't a bad guitarist. He's not Richie Sambora, but he does a fine sterling job. So unfortunately I can only give the Snartio ranking of 4 out of 10, because it's just a not very good live album, and it's the vocals that spoil it. Okay then, coming in at number 2 is the second live album, released in 2012, Inside Out. This is recorded during the 2 tours of the Lost Highway tour in 2008 and the Circle tour in 2010. On here we've got John Bon Jovi lead vocals and guitar, Richie Sambora, Tico Torres, David Bryan. Additional musicians were Hugh McDonald, he wasn't an official member, bass, Bobby Bandera on rhythm, and Lorenzo Ponce on the violin. Opens off with a really cool track, Blood on Blood. Really like that one. Lost Highway, Born to Be My Baby, You Give Love a Bad Name. Yeah, we've heard that so many times. Whole Lot of Leaving, Raise Your Hands, pretty good. Have a Nice Day, It's My Life. The Dull, I'll Be There For You. We Weren't Born To Follow is pretty good. Dead or Wanted Dead or Alive, Living on a Prayer and Keep the Faith. Very solid album. John's voice is still reasonably good. It's not a bad listen. I don't mind this one because it's Richie Sambora's guitar playing, and he's a really good guitar player. I love listening to his stuff. It's quite an enjoyable one, this one is, as John's voice is still pretty strong. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. So coming in at number 1 is an album called, it was the first one they released officially, and it's One Wild Night Live, 1985 to 2001. It's got some good songs on here. It covers that period. It's got a couple of covers on here which we'll go through. So on here you've got John Bon Jovi on vocals, Richie Sambora on guitar, Tico Torres on percussion, David Bryan on keyboards, Alec John Such on a few other tracks. You've got Hugh McDonald, guest vocalist on one track, who is Bob Geldof. So the first track is It's My Life. This was recorded in Canada in the year 2000. Pretty good version of that song. Very, very good. Living on a Prayer. Yeah, once you've heard that once, you don't want to hear it again. But that's from 2000 as well. You Give Love a Bad Name from 2000. Pretty good. These are all really good versions of these songs. Keep the Faith sounds pretty good. And then we go back to 1995 for Someday I'll Be Saturday Night. Not my favourite. Then we've got Rockin' in the Free World, a Neil Young song that was recorded in Johannesburg in 1995. Pretty good version actually, I don't mind that. Something to Believe In, not one of my favourite John Bon Jovi songs, recorded at Yokohama in 1996. Absolutely great version of Wanted Dead or Alive, recorded in New York in 2000. Then a brilliant version of Runaway, recorded in Tokyo in 1985, along with In and Out of Love. Belting versions of them songs, probably the best versions of them songs actually. Then we get I Don't Like Mondays, which obviously is the Boomtown Rats version, and we got Bob Geldof. This was recorded in London in 1995. Just Older, recorded again in Canada in 2000. It's alright. Something for the Pain. That's alright. I'm not a great lover of that track. Bad Medicine. Pretty good version of that as well. That was recorded in 2000. And then we get a studio version of One Wild Night. It is a very good album. I consider this some of these tracks as when Bon Jovi were at their peak. Great performances. I have seen them and they were fantastic when I saw them. I've only seen them the once though. Saw them on the New Jersey tour. But I think that's when they were sort of at their best. John's voice was fantastic that night. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9 out of 10. Okay, that's the official ones. Now, over the years, I have acquired a few bits. Now, this first one, I first got a copy of this off the radio. It was Bon Jovi at the Gaumont Theatre in Ipswich in 1984. This was their first tour to the UK, and they were supporting Kiss. So on this little selection, we've got John Bon Jovi, David Bryan, Tico Torres, Richie Sambora, and Alec John Such. The tracks on here are all off their very first album. We've got Breakout, great version of that. Roulette, Shot Through the Heart, like that track. Get Ready, another good track, and Runaway. Now, because I recorded this on the old big, what they were called, ghetto blasters, weren't they? Recorded it on that, and then I eventually put it onto CD, and the quality wasn't brilliant. And then a few months ago, while I was doing research for this, someone has put a really good version on YouTube. I was thinking, mental block there, and it sort of sounds a lot better. It's a great little thing. Go and check it out. Just put in Bon Jovi live Ipswich Gorman 1984 and it comes up with the broadcast. Absolutely brilliant. It sounds great to hear them cleaned up. Great little ditty that is. Okay, another one that I've acquired. This is just, it's one of them things that someone says, do you want a copy? And you say yes. You don't ask where it comes from. This is Bon Jovi live at Milton Keynes Bowl in 1989. We've got John Bon Jovi on it, David Byron, Richie Sambora and Alex Such John. This is the tour that I saw them on. This is the New Jersey tour. I think I saw them in the December time. Lita Ford supported them. Yeah, remember that one. Didn't go to this concert because I think I was doing something else or working, you know, as you do in them days. So we've got Lay Your Hands on Me, which is pretty good, really good live. I Die For You, Wild in the Streets, You Give Love a Bad Name, Pink Flamingos, Let It Rock. That is a great version on this. One of my favourite tracks off Slippery When Wet. Excellent. Living in Sin, Blood on Blood, Runaway, Living on a Prayer, Wanted Dead or Alive. Then they come out and do, in an encore, The Boys Are Back in Town, the old Thin Lizzy track. And then they have two guests come out, and it's Joe Perry and Steven Tyler, and they do Walk This Way. It's a pretty good version. Then Bad Medicine, and then Shout. It's a good little thing. I don't know if you can still get it. I think there's some very dodgy recordings on YouTube of it, but I'm not going to say how I got it. All I did, I acquired it in 1990, and it's pretty good recording. Okay, another. This is a DVD that, if you can sort of get. There are copies of it on CD, and it's Bon Jovi at the Yokohama Stadium. It came out in 2008, and it was recorded in 1996. This has got Hugh McDowell on the bass, Tico Torres, Richie Sambora, David Bryan and John Bon Jovi. Opens up with You Give Love a Bad Name, Runaway, really good version of that, I'll Be There For You. I don't really like that track. Something to Believe In's alright, I suppose. Wanted Dead or Alive's good on here. I Die For You, In These Arms, I can't stand that track. Something for the Pain's pretty good. Someday I'll be Saturday Night. Then they do Sleep When I'm Dead, love that track, and it includes the Stones' Brown Sugar. Keep the Faith is always good. Always another track that gripes on me. Then they do Blaze of Glory, obviously from Young Guns 2, which is a pretty good version. These Days, it's alright. My Guitar Lies Bleeding in My Arms, yeah. Then Diamond Ring, and then The Damned, Living on a Prayer. It's got some good tracks on. You got tracks that you haven't got live, like I'll Sleep When I'm Dead, pretty good. Okay, in 2008 as well, they released another DVD called One Last Wild Night. Same lineup as the previous album, but we've got on here One Wild Night, Raise Your Hands, really good version of that. You Give Love a Bad Name, Born to Be My Baby, yeah, Living on a Prayer, Bed of Roses, Blaze of Glories Again, Wild in the Streets, love that track. It's My Life, Keep the Faith, Wanted Dead or Alive, and a stonking version of Lay Your Hands on Me, and Bad Medicine, and a Shout. Again, a great little gig. John's voice is sounding pretty good. Okay, the next one that I've acquired is live at Madison Square Garden. This was a concert video recorded in the last part of the Lost Highway tour. Released in 2009. It's got John Bon Jovi on it, Richie Sambora, Hugh McDonald, Tico Torres, and David Bryan. Opens up with Lost Highway, really good track that is. Born to Be My Baby, Blaze of Glory, they seem to be doing that quite a lot live. It's My Life, probably the best version I've got of that. Keep the Faith, belting version of that. Raise Your Hands on here. Living in Sin, Chapel of Love, sort of mixture, not a bad version. Always, which I just don't like. Whole lot of leavings on here. In These Arms, another song I'm not very keen on. We've Got a Good Thing Goings on here. I'll Be There For You, one of the slower tracks that I do like. You Want Me, A Memory. It's alright. Blood on Blood, great version. Dry County, now I love that song, and that's a great version of it. Have a Nice Day's on here. Who Says You Can't Go Home. Then we've got Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. Wanted Dead or Alive. Living on a Prayer. You Give Love a Bad Name. Runaway. And Bed of Roses. Yeah, it's still a good little selection of songs. This is what I think there are on some of these songs, especially them latest, earlier songs. John is struggling with some of the high notes. Like in Living on Prayer, he was straining on that, and Runaway. Yeah, they're not bad little selection of DVDs. You can watch them on the YouTube. They're pretty good. So that's Bon Jovi. Haven't done a full ranking yet of their albums. If you want one, you know what you got to do. You got to ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. Okay, I'll be back later then with a new album review, and I'll be looking at Magnum's latest album, The Monsters Roar. Pretty good album. So I'll be back for that. So take care for now.